Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now today's video, just out here in one of my favorite spots, just kind of chilling out, having my coffee, enjoying my morning, and I thought today would be a nice time for a little bit of show and tell. Here in my hands, this is the Mistral T Folder from Wander Tactical. Wander Tactical is a really neat brand. They build, and I would say just sort of overbuilt, unique looking, and really kind of prehistoric in a way looking fixed blades primarily, and some folders. They're into the outdoors, they're into tactical use, and I have had the opportunity to meet both with Dino and Alex from the Wander Tactical team down at Blade Show. And in a prior review, I did have the opportunity to take a look at the Minoceros. Small little hard use fixed blade, really cool. But today we're gonna take a look at this just very unique and in a way kind of hard to get your hands on Mistral T Folder. There is a fixed blade design in the Mistral lineup, this here being the folder, but this is not just sort of the typical Mistral T Folder. On top of all of it, this is sort of like a limited production run. Now I just happen to get my hands on this. I would say, and if you've been watching my channel, I'm not so much of like the collector, I'm more of a user. But every now and then I see something and I just want to get it to enhance my collection. And that's exactly what this is here today. And so again, this Mistral T Folder, definitely unique. This is in D2 tool steel with a Rockwell hardness of 59 to 61. It does have a cryogenic heat treatment, so it is fairly durable, all things considered. Now D2 can be a little bit chippy, but for the most part, I do find that I like it as a general wilderness steel. This has an overall length of 8 3/8 inches with a handle length of 4 3/4 inches, a blade length of 3 3/4 inches, the cutting edge closer to about 3.5 inches, and then this has a stock thickness of 3/16 of an inch, so it is nice and stout. Now this knife is not light. This weighs in at 8.7 ounces, which is 246 grams. So this is fairly beefy, but you'll see on this particular variant, and the reason why I said not only are these generally sort of hard to get your hands on, but this one here is a limited edition run. Very unique with this incredible copper handle, this incredible patina. Just absolutely beautiful. And so as we take a look at this, again, just really unique and such an interesting blade. Now this may be, and I'm gonna say, in the eye of the beholder. You might like this style, you might not. It's gonna be a little bit of an acquired taste, but again, for me, it's just so different in my lineup. I love it. That's the thing about Wander Tactical, in my opinion. It's a bit of an acquired taste, but if you're looking for something overbuilt, a little bit chunky, and just unique, that's exactly what you get here. And this Mistral T Folder is just so cool like that. Now this is going to be a little bit rough on your hands if you think you're going to be using this, but at the same time, again, just overbuilt and I don't know if it's really purpose built so much. I mean, to me, who is this really going to be used for? Is it the outdoorsman? Is it tactical? I mean, what is really sort of that target audience for this? In my opinion, definitely outdoorsy for a few reasons, and I'll go through that in a little bit of detail. But first, as we look at the blade, just generally speaking, this does have a saber grind with a fairly aggressive fuller. Looks really cool. Now you'll notice the 3.5 inch cutting edge to a generous sharpening choil there. So you do lose a little bit of blade length, but at the same time, just a real generous choil. Now, part of the reason why I feel like this starts to lean towards the outdoorsman, you do have a very pronounced guard, and granted, this is a folder, but a pronounced guard, and a bit of a lanyard hole, which is kind of cool. Now, you'll notice all the way in the back, this does have a pin. I'll talk about that in a little more detail shortly, but that would also potentially double as a lanyard hole. Back to the blade, and I'm not sure exactly what you'd call this. It is a drop point style. I would almost call this a reverse Tonto in a way, but it's a little bit different than that. Is this a sheep's foot design? Maybe. It's sort of a hybrid blade, which is definitely, again, very unique. But as you look towards the stout tip, you'll notice that it is squared off. This would absolutely rip and shower sparks coming off a ferro rod, which I like. So again, having a little bit of scraping capability does make me think this would generally tailor towards an outdoorsman. You do end up with some fairly substantial studs here. So as you take a look here, this is your deployment method. So you have these thumb studs, capability of flicking open the knife. Now you do need to use a little bit of wrist action. The way the mechanism is, this does get a little bit hung up. If you're not careful, you'll notice as I go to flip this open, it will fail if you don't use any wrist action, but with wrist action, that will go open nicely. And also, you do have that fuller, which you should be able to get on. It's a little bit shallow, and it's going to take a little bit of work, but you can do that if you so choose. And then additionally, you have that nice big flipper. So here, as we check this out, getting on that flipper, again, you can fail that if you're not careful, but with a little wrist action, it will go out. This is a fairly substantial blade, being at that 3/16 of an inch thick, so it is a beefy stock. And the fact that it doesn't fly open is a little bit surprising to me, but I do have a feeling that it has to do with the overall lockup and detent that you get from this lock. Kind of like you would see with an axis lock, so in other words, a crossbar style lock, but this does orient in a different direction. Traditionally, these would be horizontal. This is more vertically opposed. Now, as we look through all of the hardware, very interesting hardware overall, you will notice that it's got flame finish on all of the hardware, which is really nice, and it does lend very well with the patina, which is definitely cool. And in addition to the flame finish on all of your hardware, you also have a bit of a flame finish on that steel pocket clip. So again, very unique and very interesting. Beefy hardware all the way around. I would say these are at least probably a T10. And then as you take a look here on your pivot screw, you do have a slotted pivot screw, and that's slotted on both sides. But to me, the most interesting part of this entire knife is that finish. The patina finish is phenomenal. Just beautiful, absolutely spectacular. Very, very deep, tons of different colors, and just so incredibly cool. Now, just for the comparison's sake, again, here the Mistral against the Benchmade Adamas. So here you can see two very beefy, overbuilt knives in a similar size class, both with D2, and very interesting where they both do have that crossbar style lock, but approaching it in a different fashion. And as we open these up, again, you can see fairly similar in overall size. The Adamas may be a little bit bigger, but generally speaking, very similar in size. Now again, the Mistral T weighing in at 8.7 grams. The Adamas a little bit lighter, coming in at 7.8 grams, but again, that's pretty much because this particular variant of the Mistral T having the copper scales. Now going back to this feature here, this pin does remove, so as you pull this out, you'll notice that this pretty much gives you the ability to lock this knife as a fixed option. Personally, for me, I probably won't really do this in practice, because if I'm going to go fixed, I'm going to go fixed all the way. But this pin can be inserted, and you can thread this in to again lock this completely and give this more of a fixed feel. But I'm going to pretty much reserve myself to not doing that today. So in other words, an interesting design where this is sort of, and I'm going to say multi-role, but at the same time where you can lock this, really working well for either tactical applications, but definitely some outdoor and wilderness use. And so for me, I'm not certain that this is my typical go-to style knife, but that's the beauty of having knives, having a collection, enjoying different things. And this is absolutely one of those cases where, for me, it's just unique. It's a different look. It's a different feel. It's a different take on what I've had in the past. And it's beautiful. More than anything else, to me, This is an expression. It's artwork. It's functional artwork. For Wander Tactical to take the time to make this unique piece, that's what I enjoy the most about this. So again, it's not so much about the fact that this is a folding knife or a hard-use folding knife, tactical, an outdoor wilderness piece. To me, this is artwork. It's kind of on that collector style, which I like. So the fact that it's the limited run with the beautiful copper, the flame finishes, just phenomenal. So to the people at Wander Tactical, nicely done. And so, all right, guys, just a little bit of show and tell today, chilling out, enjoying my coffee out here in the beautiful wilderness, watching the sun come up through the trees. Just a gorgeous morning. I appreciate you being here with me today, and if you like this content, do me a favor, take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is more on the tactical and firearm side of things. At this point, that channel is growing quickly. I have a ton of videos up there, so if you like what you see here on Outer Limitless, do me a favor and check me out on Outer Limitless 2. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.